Okay, so those people at Vevor got on to me again and said, would you like to test out one of our diesel heaters? And I said, no thanks, because A, I've got no real use for one, and B, Joshua Delisle has just done an absolutely superb review of one, and I couldn't top that. Plus, a lot of my subscribers watch Joshua anyway, so it's pointless. So she said, fair enough, have a look through the catalogue, see if there's anything you fancy. So I had a quick look through, and to be honest, catalogue's a bit sparse at the moment. I don't know if they're having trouble getting stuff into the country. But anyway, so I sort of left it for a week or so. Then we'll call it fate. I had a couple of jobs come in that I almost couldn't do. 2 long lumps of steel. One was inch square, I had to put a twist in it. And one was 1.25 inches round, I had to straighten. Really struggled. So, the light bulb moment, let's go for a forge from Vevor. So I got onto them, said, how about trying out this forge? And they said, yeah, no problem. So a couple of days later it arrived, and this afternoon I finally got an hour to put it all together and give it a go. So let's whip to the workshop and have a look, see how it goes. Okay, so let's have a look, see what's in the box. It's blooming freezing here today, so I'm done up like Eskimo now, and I've been doing a lot of welding, which kept me warm. Right, we've got our instructions, which are in sort of Chinglish. They're comprehensive enough. It says this 1.5mm pure iron, whatever that means. I'm guessing it's just cold rolled steel. Yeah, it runs you through the basics. It's enough to get you up and running. And a list of parts that you should have. And at this point your assembly should look like figure. So let's see if we can get it to look like the figure. First job is getting it out. It's in upside down. I thought at first I got the box upside down, but the box is the right way up according to all the arrows. Let's see if we can slide it out. It weighs, I think it's 16 kilos as it is, with all the bits. It's quite well packed. I guess they need to pack these things pretty well for their long journey. Alright, let's have a look where the bits are. Box of bits inside. That's where all the weight is. Yeah, much lighter without that lot. So, let's see what's in here. They send it with quite a comprehensive sort of kit. You should be able to get up and running. It comes with everything you should need. Let's go through it. Pair of leather gloves. Well, built for a midget. I think those Chinese must have tiny little paws, because I can't get mine in there. No, they're no good. Fibre. I think, because these old hands can't even open a bit of bubble wrap these days. Yeah, look okay. Must be almost, I don't know, 3/4 inch thick. At least 5/8, maybe 3/4. Looks fairly decent sort of quality. We've got 2 bigger ones. What else have we got? Burners. obviously 3 of these. Look fairly well made. Fairly basic, but fairly well made. This bottom bit I'm assuming is stainless steel. And that bottom bit's fairly solid. I'm guessing that bit of stainless is there literally to stop it burning out. That's your solid top piece with I think it's quarter gas drilled and tapped into the top. So we've got 3 of them. Pair of tongs, which, yeah, as I say, if you had nothing, they'd certainly get you working, but they ain't up to much. But I might play about with them and see if I can get them working properly. 3 ready cut pieces, 1 short one, 2 long ones, and another longer length that looks like about a couple of metres. I don't think it's got a BS mark on it, but it's got a mark of some sort. But we'll have a look at that, see how that goes. A rest for putting your long bits of steel on. Your regulator. Let's have a look, see what this is like. Again, I don't suppose this has got any BS marks on it. But at the end of the day, as long as it works. Right, feels cheap and nasty. You wouldn't mistake it for quality, but again, as long as it works, this whole body looks like just pressed up steel. It's not a casting, and those backs are very thin and flimsy. But as I say, if it works and lasts for a little while, we'll give it a go. If it doesn't, I've got plenty more propane regulators kicking about. Alright, your bag of bits. There's the clamps and the jets and the burner jets and the handles for the doors. Let's see what we've got. Little ball valve on there, I think. Yeah, little ball valve. Now there's no actual jet on there. This looks like a piece of solid that they've just drilled. I don't know if you can see that. There's a tiny, tiny little hole in there. I don't know what size that would be. 64th maybe, I don't know. But I guess if you wanted to, you could cut that top off, whip that off, and drill and tap it for an Amel jet if you wanted to play about with the jetting. But they've obviously got it right, otherwise they would have put adjustable jets in. So yeah, nothing fancy, but very functional. Again, nothing fancy, functional. These, so I'm not too sure about. Again, they're probably just about do the job to get you up and running if you had nothing else. So if you wanted to just get this straight out of the box, put it all together, get it running, these will probably do the job, but personally I might change them. I'm going to use everything that comes in the box just purely so we can see if it will work out directly out the box. So let's put everything together. That just screws down in the top there, so I think it's about quarter gas. And on the instructions there is a little diagram that tells you how to set this up. Just about there. I don't know if you can see. It tells you to put the end of this nozzle halfway between that middle hole, and then lock it up with this little brass lock nut. So we'll do that, and that's your sort of ballpark setting. Just tweak it up. Doesn't need to be monstrously tight. And there you go. That's that one set up. That's your air regulator. More or less air. Simple but effective. Again, I've put the door handles on. Just wind them in, lock them up with that nut. You can put them in whatever direction you want. I'll just put them sticking up just for convenience, so they're not forward in the exhaust or anything like that. So what's next? Oh yeah, the hinges. Little bit dodgy. They're very, very flimsy. They've been spot welded on quite badly. And this end, they were put on in a way that the door doesn't actually shut. So I think if this is going to be used for any length of time, they might... Hello, Ralph. They might have to be replaced, those hinges. But again, we'll see how it goes. I don't know how often I'm going to be using this. Right, in the box you get these 3 little hex head screws, which is what holds your burners in. So let's get them in. Turn them round because the screw holes are this side. They're tiny holes ready drilled and tapped. Now, I've just noticed the insulation hasn't been cut properly. They've cut the holes, but they're not big enough. They're not quite central. Let me see if I can show you. I've just started pushing that one about, but they've obviously just punched a hole through it, not quite the right size. And I'm guessing that bit of stainless on the bottom of the burner has had those holes in it for a reason. And if that stays there, those holes, if that stuff stays there, they're not going to be working properly. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes and try and get that out of the way. And I found this 3/4 Whitworth socket is perfect size for the hole. So I'm just going to push the stuff. It's quite soft, so I'm going to push it around with my fingers and then just push the socket in and wiggle it around so that hopefully the socket will push the insulation out into the right shape and allow everything to work properly. There we go. Let's just do the other one. So it's not hard insulation, it's pretty soft, so you have to be a bit gentle with it. How it will stand up to having lumps of iron chucked in and out of it, I don't know, but again, time will tell. Right, that's sorted them out. Let's go back to installing them. I'm going to try and line the, you can't see, I haven't quite got the camera high enough, but I'm going to try and line all the ball valves up in the same direction on the same side. Of course that one wasn't done up properly, so I'll have to redo it. That's better. So I don't want to be mucking about with one ball valve in this direction, one in that, so I'm trying to get them all in line. Now obviously you don't have to use all 3 burners at the same time. If you've just got something small in there, you could just use one burner. I would suggest probably the middle one. But, you know, it's up to you. Or you could use 2, or obviously all 3. For the job I had, twisting the inch solid, I probably would have used all 3. There we go. Right, let's put the fire bricks in. Obviously this single one, the little one goes in the middle. It doesn't matter which way around it goes because it is basically square. And the others at each end. And they're not a tight fit or anything like that. There is a reasonable amount of wiggle room. Whether that will be a detriment or not, I don't know. Right, that's them in. Let me show you how they fit. You can see there's sort of 1/4 inch or maybe 5/16 down each side, but I'm sure it'll do the trick. That door's going to annoy me, that's going to break, I think. Right, gas lines. You can see I've got all the ball valves lined up. I've put the first 3 bits of pipe onto the cross piece, short one in the middle, long ones either side. Now when I undid this hose, it's a bit of a mess. The way it's been done up, it's creased it quite badly. It's obviously not very good quality because the creases are quite bad. I'm slightly concerned that gas flow is going to be reduced, and I know it's cold in here, but it doesn't seem to want to undo. But anyway, I'm going to use it, like I said, and see what happens. So I've joined it onto the cross, and these clamps are a bit of a pain. They sort of, the handles get in the way of each other, so you have to sort of figure out how to do it so that they don't interfere with each other. So I've got that on and it's still tangled. Not keen on the look, but hey ho, as I say, I'm going to use all the gear just to prove that it will work straight out the box. So let's get it connected up to some gas, see how it goes. I've only got a little bottle of propane today, but I'm not going to need a lot. In fact, this one's nearly empty, so I hope there's enough in it to run this. Tweak her up. Turn it on. There's not much in there. Let's get some gas going. Ah, the valves are open. Don't know if you can hear that hissing. Alright, so I close the valves, but I think there's still a leak, so turn that off. We'll sort that out. Let's turn it back on again. Yeah, definitely a leak up there somewhere. I can hear it, so we'll tighten all them up. Sorted. Right, let's spark her up. Well, that was easy. They recommend that you chuck something alight in there, but I don't like that because it always leaves ash in there. So yeah, look at that, all running. They all look like they're running actually quite well. I might try a little bit of tweaking as time goes by, but for just setting it up sort of as they say by eye, that's pretty good. And we're running at, oh Christ, we're only running at about 2 psi. So let's crank that up a little bit, see what it's like at 5. Yeah, well, it's hasn't sounded like it's gone up much. Definitely roaring a little bit more. Let's whack it up to 10. I probably wouldn't use it any more than 10. I don't know. Again, it's going to be experimentation. That looks like that's burning nicely. That's 10 psi. Yeah, lovely bit of heat coming out of there. I don't know if you can hear it. There's some pops and bangs going on. I think there's some water in there somewhere. Oh yeah, and you can see the steam coming out that first burner's hole. So I think somewhere in there there's a little bit of dampness, whether it's from the long trip on the ship or whether it was in the insulation material before they put it in. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely popping and banging a little bit. So I'm going to leave that to run for a minute or so, just to, yeah, you can feel the exhaust. So you wouldn't want to have this up against anything flammable. Yeah, you can see that steaming well, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it is popping. So right, it's been running for a few minutes. The pops and bangs have stopped. I'm just going to put a little bit of 1/2 inch square bang in the middle, and let's see how long it takes to get up to a decent heat, a usable heat. So I'll set my timer if I can find it. I'm not very good with finding things on these phones. There we go. Come on, timer. Right, so that's started. We're a few seconds late, but hey ho. Right, now we're up to 2 minutes plus a few seconds for me fiddling about. Let's have a little look. Oh yeah, that's pretty hot. Let's put you back on the tripod. See, it's all smoking a little bit, but I think that's all the newness of it. It smells like new paint burning and, you know, that sort of newness. I don't think it's a problem. Look at that, that looks nice. That's hot enough. I don't quite know why that little section there looks darker on the camera. When I'm looking at it on the camera it looks darker there, but it's actually all about the same temperature. But that might just be a little tweaking of the burners needed. So let's give it a go. Yeah, well, it works. So it's been turned off for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, if that, and it's still very hot. The case is very hot. So again, you wouldn't want it on a wooden table really. Ideally you'd need it on a metal table like this, and with plenty of ventilation. And it's that rocking that's annoying me. I'm gonna have to sort that out, and those I don't like. I really don't, so I'm going to sort them out now. So 5 minutes later, I put some, oh come on, focus you fecking thing. I really need a new camera. Please someone suggest a decent camera I can use. I must get one. Come on, focus. Let's do it by manual focus. That's sort of it. But as you can see, that's tidied that up a treat. Made it look much more professional, just putting those proper clips on. And they're peanuts, buy a bag of them on Amazon. Clamp them up. And that hose is going. I'm going to get a new bit of hose. I haven't got any lying about, but I don't like that. That's a disaster waiting to happen. The regulator I'm going to keep for the time being. It may fall apart, it may not, depending on how much I use it, but I've got plenty of others if it does fall apart. But overall, straight out of the box, you can use it. Does what it says on the tin. So I'm going to be very pleased with that. It's going to get, not probably a lot of use, but it will get used. So, overall, I'll give it a thumbs up. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.